Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Black Desert Global Lab patch notes reading for July 25th. So, as we all know, there's a lot coming out in the next few weeks, and it's always a good idea to read up on the Global Lab notes because this is like the test server and it comes to the live server within the following week. So, it's good to keep up to date with that. So, with that said, Global Labs. I'm a little bit late on reading this one, but this stuff that I'm personally interested in, and let's read about it. So, with that said, this is translated from Korean to English. I'll try to make it make sense. I'll also leave a link in the description if you want to read it yourself. So, with that said, Blue Battlefield. This is what they talked about during the Heidel Ball, which is like the ocean red battlefield. So, like people who have their carracks and boats, which I think is actually really cool because I have the Valor boat. I've had the Valor one for like maybe 4 or 5 years now. And back when it was actually difficult to get a carrack, and all I wanted to do was boat PvP. That's why I got it, and it's finally coming. So I'm pretty excited. Now I understand this is something that might not, be appealing to everyone, but for me, it's pretty exciting. So hopefully it's good. Anyway, so let's see. Originally, we planned to release this content on the Global Lab and bring it to the official servers on July 30th. However, given the flurry of the combat changes, oh yeah, that was a big one. Maybe it's a good idea to hold that off for a little bit. I think that's a good thing. For that reason, we may hold off the Blue Battlefield launch until the timing is right. So we'll get it next year. Got it. All right, so anyway, this is what the concept of it is. Blue Battlefield is a PvP content, or is PvP content between guilds using ships. It is where you occupy and defend a fortress, but on basically RBF, but on your boat. So there's actually strategies. You have to put the right workers on your boat now. Instead of everyone just having straight up 10 confidence, you actually have to put in different workers for a mix of speed. The one that shoots the cannons at an angle, that one is actually something I played with a little bit, but I don't have a lot of expertise in it. So either way, we might actually have more strategies with boat stuff, and I think that's cool. So I do actually know how to do a little bit of boat PvPing. That's the point of me getting a Valor, so I'm pretty excited. All right, Blue Battlefield main reward. Minimum 2 billion, maximum of 4 billion. Loot box up to 5,000 crow coins. Listen, bro, if you have a carrack and a maxed out gear, I guarantee you 5,000 crow coins is irrelevant. What in the world? Deep Sea box, that's actually really good with the new changes. Deep Sea is now better than Perfume of Courage if you overcap on grind spots. And family buff, I assume, plus 75 mastery. And then this is life XP, sailor XP. That's cool. All right, so you can apply to participate in the Blue Battlefield in the following days. Sunday to Friday, except for Saturday. I assume Saturday is when Siege happens or Conquest Wars. And if they had things overlapping, that would be really bad. So running time, literally 1 hour a day. Cool. And on Odalita 1. So yeah, about that. I might have to start merking into some ocean guilds for doing this because I'm actually curious. I want to do it. So if you're a ocean guild, let me know who to contact on the NA server, and I want to participate. I have a full Valor, plus 10 all blue. We're good to go. I just need to actually get into it. All right. Types and end times of everything. Blue Battlefield. Minimum 20 minutes, maximum 60. Really only an hour? That's kind of... it's every day, but you would think that, and it goes on for at least 2 hours, like maybe Node Wars does, or Siege. Guild galleys for all the boats. all this. I think realistically, what do people have? Carrick. Carrick is better than every guild boat by a lot. And the new ones from the Land of the Morning Light, I actually don't really know the stats that well, but I think it's like competitive with Carrick's. So we'll see. All right, so let's see. Aquila's Eye guidance does not apply during blue battlefield. Your stats are reduced by 30%. Literally, why? There's a reason why people like get their boat to be the best they can, is to have the advantage over other people's boats. Why is everyone's thing nerfed? What in the world? Already? It's not even out yet and I'm mad. Alright, whatever. However, with the final ability of the heavy sailboat, emergency movement ability is reduced. Okay. Man, that's already tilting. Okay, anyway. So basically, if your boat is destroyed during war, where the cruise hunger level will not decrease. Oh, that's actually really good. I'm glad it's Pearl Abyss. You never really put it past them to forget something critical. So I'm glad they actually remembered that your sailors actually have a health bar. So that's kind of good. It's concerning, but good. On servers where blue battlefield is in progress, ship repair function and mount revival items cannot be used. Yeah, I assume they want to make you play strategically and not just be like, okay, I got hit like 12 times. I'm just going to move back and repair and go back in. They want people to play like, you know, battleship with actual strategy involved. So I think that's fine. Buildings cannot be constructed near a castle within the battlefield, and siege weapons cannot be installed. Imagine having a Hwacha on your Carrick. That would be funny, but I understand why they don't have it. Like, imagine if someone is firing off cannon. Like, that's the point, right? But they don't want extra stuff. Like, they want you to actually use your boat. I think it's fine. It would just be kind of funny if you could, but yeah, I get it. All right, so 10 minutes before the start, the buff will be or like the icon will be displayed, and it's kind of like a CTG or whatever, like, you know, the war thing that starts. You just click the button. Yep, and that's what it is. It is basically telling us, literally describing Node Wars, but in the ocean. So you, it is what it is. Start location on Lima, Ilia, and Velia. Cool. Show others adventurer names. Color your participating guild. That's actually kind of a neat feature. I would have put it past Pearl Abyss to just forget it and everyone's a red enemy and your team is blue, just kind of like how normal wars are. But that's actually a nice feature. They should do this with regular stuff as well. That's kind of cool. It's a good feature, actually. All right. Blue battlefield rewards, guild funds, depending on what you have actually done. You will receive the following base taxes as guild funds. So if you're like, what do these stages mean? Is it like Node War tiers, kind of? Oh, I guess so. Up to 4 billion silver, minimum 2 billion. I mean, it's good. Victory and participation. So basically, I assume this is mastery. You just get more for winning. Very cool. Personal awards last modified it a couple hours ago. So participate and you get a box. Win, you get more boxes. I don't know what the value of that in silver is, but I assume if you're a main sailor, chances are that's less relevant. But either way, I really do hope it's very competitive. Like, this is something I've been waiting for years, and so I'm kind of excited for it. All right, the blue box that you get from winning, what do you get? You can obtain one. Dude, you know those boxes that they have where it just gives you a bundle of stuff and not just one? You're just like, here, there's 10 items. You can get up to, like, you can get multiple. I like those. Just give more of those. Okay, so what is this thing? Black crystals of condensed. I think, isn't that the thing to upgrade, like, Monos? I think. Perfume of Courage, Deep Sea Elixirs. Those are really nice. Actually, at least on here on NA. Let me check it. Yeah, like Deep Seas are sold out because everyone is like super gear capped. And yeah, this is what we want. But like perfumes are, you know, in stock again. Okay, so let's see. Let's see, that one. Got it. Okay, anyway. Killa's Origin Stones. Deep Sea. Opportunity. Okay, so this is basically telling you how if you have more than 10 people who are yesed up into your guild or alliance, then you can do it. Very standard Node War practice. It's just in the ocean. Guild Dock Manager, Wharf Managers, basically telling you where to start it. A new skill for the new boats from the Morning Light boats. I don't actually have one, but I assume it's like competitive. Maneuvering, new skill. And that's it. All right, so that's the blue battlefield thing, I think. And let's go on to the next set of stuff. This week, we've rolled out the previously announced combat system to the live servers. Since these changes represent a major overhaul, we're keeping a close eye on how things are playing out in the monster zones, and then reviewing it. If you are a new player, you're probably doing fine. If you are in the mid tier, like 250 to 300 AP, I heard it feels bad. But if you're at the end game, it's only like it's either the same or, you know, a little bit worse. So my understanding from talking to other people and just reading a lot is that it affects the mid game players more than the end or entry level. Like the beginners and the end game players kind of feels the same, if not slightly worse. But then the people hit the hardest are mid tier, which is actually a lot of people. So that's concerning. We know that with so many big and small changes happening at once, some of you adapted quickly while others may be feeling a bit lost. Yeah, there's more than one spot in this game. For all of you who are grinding at Honglim base, there's a few more places you could try. Like Gyphon Underground is pretty good. Crypt of Resting Thoughts is also good in that range. And, you know, just you could probably try Decky at Thornwood nowadays. Just maybe solo Olins, which is decent, and get your merchant ring piece while you're at it. This update isn't just a simple stat tweak. Yeah, I know they missed a few spots. Elvia Hex Sanctuary is kind of cracked because they like missed that one entirely. Hard mode party shrines are, you know, unaffected. I actually want to show you. Hold on. Let me go back to this. Okay, so we did the party shrines the other day, and usually is like that, but I got mine done, and these are like pretty fast times for our guild, right? And hold on. Okay, so anyway, these are like, got all these done, couple minutes for each of them. Long Wang, we kind of just messed up on that one, but ultimately it was pretty good. This one felt faster, actually. I did these 4 before the patch, and then all of my hards for the week were after the patch, and then this one. So like my Calamity 9, a Golden Pig was actually a new time, so I think that actually was affected. And yeah, so that was one of the things that we noticed. Moving forward, we'll continue adjusting monster zones which fall short of their AP requirements. So for me, someone who's like at the end game, I am going for treasure items at various spots, like at Paddock's Island for the merchant ring, and also wanted to do the archaeologist map, which surprisingly I still don't have in 2025. I have 1 out of the 4 pieces, but you know, I just been like, man, that kind of grind kind of sucks, to be honest. And grinding the lower end areas, it feels kind of bad actually. It just takes longer, which in theory it shouldn't, but yeah, grinding treasure items as an end game player does not feel as good anymore. So, well, it didn't really feel good grinding there before, because you're just like, oh, I'm making 200 mil an hour when I can be making 3 bill an hour. But yeah, now it feels even worse. So yeah, I hope they realistically tweak it. Or what they could do is, you know, start ramping up on the Dekia spots, or like just, you know, add new spots that give like rich merchant ring and all the treasure items that you can get, make them into higher end spots. Actually important, like high priority. If I was at Pearl Abyss, that would go up on the list of things I wanted to do. Okay, so we understand everyone may not agree with this direction. However, since we shared these plans at the last ball, it's crucial to focus on pushing that out. Just because you talked about it doesn't mean you have to, you know, go through with it. I've seen a lot of other MMOs like come up with an idea and it just wasn't good, and they're like, yeah, sorry, we'll revert it. That was it. And then they did it. So I think the concept is good for like buffing everyone up to make it like more streamlined and less confusing. But at the same time, because BDO is a different game with a lot of grind spots, they really have to test everything before pushing out these updates, which I think is extremely important. But they missed a lot of them. And, you know, for me personally, if I grind lower end spots, I understand like they don't want high geared players being at lower end spots, but some like treasure items, I literally only have one choice. So, for example, like Upper Sakraya, I'm going to have to go there for the Rich Merchant Ring. Paddock's Island, that doesn't feel good anymore. Olin's, I mean, you know, that's a option for 1 or 2, whatever. It's no big deal. But then, like, for everyone else who doesn't have stuff, just know the treasure item spots are now pretty, like, it feels worse. So now about PvP with upcoming gear, and they removed PvP resistances. They kept it for PvE. The environment is unstable. You guys know the thing they patched the other day where like if you got hit or something, it would automatically like V you out. Yeah, that was the emergency maintenance. That's how you know Pearl Abyss has not tested this. Like, I'm convinced no one in the Korean Pearl Abyss PvPs, because if they had one person test it, they'd be like, oh, that's an issue. But they didn't. They had to have an emergency maintenance on all the servers. It's fine, though. We all got 1,000 cronstones and a bunch of buffs, so that's cool. But yeah, everyone who missed Node Wars yesterday, it is what it is. Other classes will be reviewed carefully, stat by stat. Oh boy. They say that every time. But, you know, here we are. Hash, still top tier. Sage, top tier. You know, witches and wizards, top PvP classes, still at the top. Okay, dude, you guys remember how they kind of nerfed mouse movement? And then 1 week later, they're like, oh no, Berserker players are angry, so we got to buff them again. Like, no, you don't. It's fine. Berserkers are fine. They have a good kit. They'll be fine without mouse movement. It just feels worse. The one thing about Berserker that I've noticed, and from my experience, a lot of the main abilities are like, you know, when you're spinning, right? The Berserker spin. Those are not cancelable without losing a lot of damage. So, like, PvPing, it's fine. But if you're doing Black Shrine bosses, like, you know, the things where you actually have to focus on mechanics, like you would have to cancel out of those spinny attacks, but that cost you a lot of your DPS. So doing shrine bosses kind of sucks on Berserker, but I think everything else is fine. They have a good kit. That is what I would fix. All right, so let's see. We know that disabling mouse movement has been frustrating. Just at this point, like, what in the world? What do they want? Especially for those who main a Berserker. This is how you know someone at Pearl Abyss mains a Berserker, because they angry. Before we roll out the full PvP balance update, we're first addressing balancing things, starting with Berserker and then moving on to the other classes. Boy, do I have a lot of stuff to say. You know classes that I think are higher on the priority list than Berserker? Literally, like, every other class. But realistically, there's a lot of other classes that I think are higher on the priority than Berserker. Even without mouse movement, they still have a very solid overall kit to, do fine. But I think someone at Pearl Abyss just mains Berserker and then was not happy about this. So that's why 1 week later, they get the change again. All right, well, let's see what's changing. Defense changed from forward guard to super armor. That's a good change. Maybe a little bit too good, but that's a good change. When using the skill, B skills granted. Okay. This is Lava Piercer, right? Maintaining the Iron Gauntlet when used in the air. Oh my god. Oh god. This is like every time I watch a TikTok and it's like 100%. Same with Instagram Reels. Of course, it's maxed out. Wait. I don't main a Berserker, but wait, hold on. Let me watch this again. That looks cooler. But that one looks more effective. Like, left looks cooler, right one looks effective. You know, the fact that Berserkers can even do that, but like every other class cannot, except for like Lan. Lan can fly, Sorks can, infinite teleport, wizards, witches. I feel like this is just a really good thing. Yo, wait, did someone record this and like remastered, but this one is just like not remastered? Also, turn off your screen shake. That one looks cool, actually. Oh boy, Shai buffs and changes. Good lord. You know how they basically nerfed Shai? They're buffing it 1 week later. With the new unified rules for DP reduction, many of Shai's strength, particularly tied to Misty Haze, felt quite different from before. You know how they changed classes like Nova, or Awakening Nova in particular, to play completely differently, but they never got changed? People who play Shai and Berserkers they got a change 1 week later. That's how you know what the mains are of the PA employees at the office. Yeah. Rip Novas. Like, Novas are in a good spot, but it just plays very differently, which that's not the point. The point is that some classes get changes and then they get changes again immediately 1 week later, but some classes, they just don't. Anyway, let's see. Before the damage, you do the roll thingy. Wait, what is this? Invincibility effect. The movement distance of the skill has been increased. That's good. Invincibility effect that has been added applies to monsters. Wait, are Shai's getting caught during the roll? Literally just don't get hit. Just like, why does it need invincibility when you have a super armor? Also, you know, invincibility is the orange icon, not the super armor icon. Gotta fix that one. Yeah, that's the super armor icon. Gotta change it to the orange one. Health recovery increases up to 300. Assume every skill is maxed. Skill acquisition level, so like what level you unlock, 55 to 30. That's fine. The skills cooldown has been changed from 4 minutes to 2 minutes. Who thought that changing it to 4 minutes in the first place was a good idea? Like, I don't main a Shai, but I've played a Shai. And, like, does anyone know that, like, a 2-minute cooldown is huge? And, like, all right, whatever. Moving on. Ooh, this is some pretty big buff numbers. That's like a 1,300% increase. Hey, Shais were already good, and then now they're getting better. That's good. You know, when I group with Shais, realistically, the only thing I expect out of them is, you know, to stay alive and keep their 1 minute buffs up 100% at a time. You literally press 1, 2, 3, 4. You can hotbar every buff. And so, like, even if you don't know how to play a Shai, you just put it on 1, 2, 3, 4, and then push it once every minute, and then you're good. Obviously, it's more to that, but, you know, like, that's the basics of it. Buff your group. Sometimes you want to debuff the enemies. Sometimes you want to heal them. You move around sometimes on your little, like, boomerang. Then you press 1, 2, 3, and 4 again. That's how you play Shai, by the way. There's like 8 to 10 buttons total. All right, anyway. Solare Hall of Fame. Dude, I did not really enjoy last season, this Arena of Solare. I'm not going to lie. But it is what it is. Hopefully next season they actually look at the leaderboards and, you know, look at it and be like, oh, maybe Sages are, you know, a little bit busted. Assassins are also busted. They're just harder to play. Zerkers, pretty good. And then look at the classes that didn't even come close to the 2400 incarnate, and then be like, maybe we should buff those class. That's how easy it is to look at what is good and what isn't. You just look at the leaderboards. All right. Immortal Abyss monsters. Wait, what are these? Immortal Abyss. The balance of Shijahar. I actually have no idea what this means. Okay. I don't know what grind spot this is. Elvia. The issue where the health of monsters at Hex Sanctuary was applied at a low level has been fixed. Accordingly, the vitality, the health of it, has been increased by 100%. I made a video of that earlier today while it was still busted. Make sure to grind there while you still can until next week. It was about 3 bill an hour. It's kind of fun, actually. So here's the thing. That was the most fun grind I've had in BDO in a long time. I don't know why. Like, I get it. It's not working as intended. But you would think that your goal is to make grind spots fun for people. And, like, if you just make the game fun, people are going to continue playing the game. They're going to spend more money. Player base is higher. That's literally all positive things. Players are happy. Pearl Abyss makes more money. Shareholders make more money. Everyone's happy. And, you know, I used this example before, but like, if anyone gets to the end game and you're wondering how much it costs to get a deck sovereign weapon, just one of them, by the way, it's about 4 trillion silver, assuming the worst. The issue right now, they think it, like, where it wasn't working as intended, I made 3 billion silver in that hour. Not even close to getting anywhere near 4 trillion silver for this. Now, like, next week, like, it's probably still going to be fine. It's just not as good. But, like, for endgame players, they really just want you to grind all day, every day. And I'm just like, I don't know about that one. So it's like, I don't know, just make the grind spots fun again. I literally had fun that 1 hour I tested the Hex Sanctuary. But just know that it costs trillions of silver to upgrade your gear at endgame. And then they just want to, like, say no fun allowed. Here we are. That's like kind of a slap in the face to literally every gamer, everyone who plays BDO and grinds. Yeah. Dang. Now no one wins. The Tale of the Nine-Tailed Fake Name. Provide guidance on quest progression for accepting it. Is this the Gumiho thing in Morning Light? I don't think so. Ataraxian Valmachia main theme background music has been renewed. Oh, that's cool. Node Wars and Siege. Damage from flame towers was affected by the character damage reduction has been fixed. Once again, all it takes is one person at Korean Pearl Abyss to do a node war every now and then this could be tested. UI. Following this week's live server, Cooking and Alchemy, we've prepared a similar round of enhancements for other in-game alerts for inconvenient or awkward situations. Although development is now changed, internal tests don't always reflect the wide range of environment testing to ensure things work smoothly. Run a 1-week test based on actual in-game alert logs and live servers. You guys know the global lab is the test server where you're supposed to test things before it goes to the live server, right? You know, that's what the global lab test server is. You're supposed to test things on the test server. Good Lord. Okay. Some notification messages that appear in the center of the screen have been improved. The bosses. You know, I normally look at the thing at the bottom, right? So, like, at the bottom would be like 15 minutes till X boss spawns, right? I just look at that, I'm not gonna lie. I don't even pay attention to the on-screen pop-up half the time. But it is what it is. Bug fixes and changes. All of these are controller stuff. Quests. Fixed an issue where a character switch button would not be clicked in certain situations. Adventure journals have been fixed. I thought they fixed that last week, but apparently it's not. The issue where the defense of the hard mode bosses was not increased properly. Yeah, I talked about that earlier, and I'm like, bro, Pearl Abyss, just let people have their fun. Let the geared players melt the bosses. It's not like we even have a permanent leaderboard. It's a weekly leaderboard. Just let people have their fun. If you geared players want to melt things in a minute, cool. Just let it happen. Let the, you know, people in the mid tier who are like practicing to get more gear and just like let them have a goal, whereas the end game players can just melt things and get it done. I can assure you, most people do not enjoy doing the hard mode bosses over and over again. We do it because it's like 15 billion silver in about an hour. So usually they're fun the first time you do it, first few times, and then after that it becomes a weekly chore. And like it's a weekly leaderboard. We don't even have a permanent one. So let's let people have their fun. Keep the same difficulty. If it's not like DP fixed, whatever. Sage, Hasashin stuff, and other quests were not fixed, or are now fixed. All right, so interesting patch today. I'm excited for Blue Battlefield, which is the boat PvP. Various class changes, bug fixes, other stuff. Overall, a decent patch, I'd say. Some of the things that I'm just like, why is this even changed? But it is what it is. Anyway, with that said, thanks so much for watching. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. I'd love to see you come back. We got a lot of stuff to do, a lot of testing to do, and next week, of course, will be, well, actually, up until Sovereign Offhand comes out, we'll be doing a lot of stuff. So yeah, videos are going up as usual, pretty on the regular. So if you enjoyed it and want to see more, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.